Well, we're at the CCA Workbench for the Rigs and Techniques portion of the show. Dave,
yes, sir.
Expanded, but you may not need all that, right?
I got a lot of stuff here. Anyway, you know, you're going to at least want to carry 2 rods. I'm going to try to go fast here.
Okay.
A big bait rod and a smaller rod to throw your lures and stuff with. And you want them to both be around
like
7 feet.
Spanish and bluefish.
Correct.
And
You want them to both be around 7 feet. The longer rods like these here, you got a Penn Battle 4 combo, which is fairly cheap too. You can buy that whole thing for $200. Penn 4000 is the Battle 4000 is a great size.
Fantastic reel.
And we got, you know, that one over there too is a little bit bigger, a little heavier one. You might want to put your bait on that one. The what you call that thing? The Squadron 3. That's what that one is.
Okay.
And this is, you know, you can see it's a little beefier rod.
Yeah.
And you can soak your bait on the bottom of that one for your big fish. You know, your kingfish maybe. If you want to put a popping cork on there and put a big bait under that and let it just hang out.
And you can go up in size if you need to.
Correct. Right. Don't be so quick to fish at the very end of the pier. You know, everybody wants to be all the way at the very end. Well, a lot of times the fish aren't hanging out at the end. So what I do is if I get there early, I'll go put a couple things at the end, save my spot, and then I'll walk the pier. And I'll keep looking to see if I can find where the action is, because that's where you want to stop and fish. You know, you ain't going to catch fish where they're not hanging. You know, bring some small hooks and sabiki rigs or even a treble hook so that you can snag some bait. You know, I've you know, a lot of times the bait ain't biting anything that you're giving them, sabikis or even little bait. So if you got a nice treble hook, you can snag a bait out of a school that's coming by, which is also that treble hook comes in handy if you don't have a bridge gaff or a bridge net. You know, you can help another guy get his fish up with that treble hook, or help, you know, have a guy help you do the same thing.
Definitely.
So bring a large assortment of weights and hooks. You never know what the tide or current's going to bring. I like these kind of hooks here.
These are cool.
That have the weight on the hook.
Yeah.
You know, when you make long casts with a pinfish or something stuck on here, you don't get that helicopter effect. It might make your bait come flying off. And they go down to the bottom, and a lot of times that's where you're going to be catching a lot of your fish when you're fishing off a jetty or a pier, real close to the bottom.
Or a simple jig head.
Simple jig head works as well. Also, bring some wire, bring some stainless steel wire, because you never know if the bluefish or the Spanish mackerel are going to be coming, and if you don't have any heavy leader, you're going to be losing your gotchas and your spoons and stuff that we're going to be talking about right now.
Definitely.
You know, a spoon is a great search bait on the pier or a jetty. A big heavy spoon. They cast a long way, which is very important when you're on the jetty or the pier. And also, you know, you get a lot of bites on everything. Everything. I like
these gotchas too.
Gotchas are my favorite thing. They're very small. They're very heavy. Again, they cast a mile. You know, and just you can also use those on the bottom or on the top. That's the good thing about a gotcha. You can work it really fast and jig it, or you can let you drag it across the sand on the bottom, and you're still gonna get a lot of good bites.
And then there's always the good old, you know, pompanos and bucktail type.
Pompano jigs and you know, like I was saying, if you walk halfway down that pier, a lot of times where that surf is breaking in the surf zone, you can catch all kinds of fish on those little jigs, pompano jigs. You know, grunts eat them, pompanos, permits, ladyfish, everything eats those. So that's a cool thing to have. Also, wear a pair of good shoes when you go out on a pier. There's guys out there throwing all kinds of stuff on the pier, laying dead catfish around.
Right.
A lot of the bait
discarded
fish,
line and hooks.
Yeah, and if you're got a hook up and you're running, trust me, this is speaking from experience. And you're running down the rail chasing your fish, and you kick a catfish in the side, and one of them goes into the bottom of your foot, you're not going to be liking that a whole lot.
No, not at all.
Make sure you wear some good shoes. Backpacks are great things these days. When I was a kid, for some reason, we didn't think to wear backpacks. They just weren't the thing. We had a 5-gallon bucket, you know, which is always good. But these backpacks are great because you can put a couple rods in them, and if you're hopping,
you can stow your couple of boxes.
Exactly. And if you're hopping the rocks, and your rods are on your backpack, but some of them have these little rod holders on them, you have one hand free
in case you fall.
Because I've seen some horrific stuff happen.
Gotcha.
And I was talking a lot about, you know, walking. You fish on the
so
on the jetty from the boat.
Yeah, a couple of the points that I would make from a guy on the jetty If you cast away from the jetty, you're throwing your bait as far away from where the fish want to hold as possible. The fish, if you look at our pilchards and stuff, where are they at? They're around the pilings. All the bait, the fish, everything are on the pilings. If you're throwing way out there, there's no way you're going to get bit. Yeah. Unless you're looking for that bluefish or that Spanish mackerel that happens to be going by in a school. Right. But the snooks, reds, mangrove snapper, sheephead, they're all below you. So casting out there, you're throwing your bait. You can't get a bite some days because you've thrown your bait so far away from the fish.
Yeah, you've thrown beyond the fish.
Right. Now, using a boat, there's a couple things you need to pay attention to. Current is a big thing whenever you're fishing a jetty because you need to know what way the current is flowing. That way you know how to present your bait. If you understand the jetty, it's got maybe a little outcropping, you've got the tip of the jetty, there's an eddy. You want to be throwing to the upcurrent side and letting it flow through that or swing through that. That's how you're going to catch more fish.
You want to make it look natural.
Yep. Right. Well, I tell you, I wish we had 5 more minutes, but we don't. So we're going to go see what Bree's got us doing.
You need to do a Pier and Jetty episode on your show.
There you go.
Maybe one Saturday morning, which I'm sure you already have.